Walking Miracles. How are y'all doing today? I hope you all had a wonderful, wonderful month. We are sitting here with Miss Tinsel Christopher, and I am super, super honored to have her on the show because she is one busy lady. She is a mother. She is a business owner. She has her own prayer call, and as you can see, she definitely has a really, really great sense of humor, a great personality. She is a very small package, but she definitely packs a mighty, mighty punch. She's so feisty. Sometimes I just have to be like, okay, Tinsel, all right. But I definitely love her, and she has so many amazing things to share. Every morning at 6 a.m. we're up, we're having our devotional, we're praying, we're talking about life, and every morning there's a new nugget. Every morning I feel so encouraged to just go on with my day. And so when I asked her and she said yes, I was like, yes, okay, because she's such an awesome woman. She's such an awesome woman. And I've seen her interact with her daughter, even at an early age. I think, what, your daughter's 7? She's 7. Just teaching her about speaking stuff into existence. I remember I was sitting over her house. Her daughter was like, man, I ain't going to get to go with my friend, today because she ain't going to come pick me up. And she said, well, you're right. She ain't going to come pick you up because you just said it. Just teaching her a lesson about speaking things into existence. And she just, went back to say, well, you remember what I told you? You have to speak things into existence. You can't say negative stuff. And I thought that was so amazing because when you really think about it, a lot of 7-year-olds do not get those type of lessons. We're all guilty of it when we're talking to children. We just let them speak so much negativity because we're speaking negativity. And so that just goes to show you what kind of woman Tinsel is, what kind of mother she is. Just really charging forth in her business. I'll let her tell y'all about the success that she's had this month. But all I would say is that she took thousands and thousands of dollars home this month just from her business, just out there grinding. Even when it got tough, she stayed in the fight. And so I definitely admire her for that. So without further ado, because I could go on and talk about Miss Tinsel and her little feisty self for the next 3 minutes. But Miss Tinsel, I would love for you to tell us some more about yourself because I just gave a brief synopsis. But tell the audience, tell our other walking miracles who you are.
Well, as she said, my name is Tinsel, and first off, I just want to say I'm so excited and honored to be on Walking Miracles because I know you could have chose anybody, and I'm just honored that you chose me. A little bit about me, first off, of course, I am a mother, and I do take pride in being a mother, let me say that. So everything I do, I have to be mindful of it because I know I have somebody watching me. I know I have somebody looking up to me. So I feel as a mother, I must lead by example. And thank God I was introduced to this wonderful business by a good friend of mine named Mr. Jeffrey Hughes. And he just opened my mind up to an amazing opportunity. I actually had my very best month in business this month. I'm just thankful and grateful to be able to, not just help myself, but also be able to help other people because there's a lot of people out here that are really struggling.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of them, they just haven't had anybody to show them another way. So this month, I was actually able to bring home into my pocket $7,000.
Woo! $7,000 take home pay, not gross pay.
Right, net pay. So I'm very excited about it because what that does for me is that also paves a way for other people to be able to make the same amount of money because what we talk a lot about in our organization is that God is not a respecter of persons. So what he can do for me, he can also do for other people as well.
Absolutely.
And also just showing my daughter that, you do not have to settle. She knows that if she thinks she can do a thing, she's right. If she thinks she can't do it, I tell her you're right again. So I'm really big on training her at an early age and making sure her mindset is on, look, you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you.
Absolutely.
So one of the things that, of course, I recently just started, and Tiara is a huge part of it as well, is I just started a prayer call at 6 o'clock every morning. And I'm so excited about this prayer call because it started off with only 1 or 2 people. But you know what they say? Where 2 or more gathered, there's God in the midst of it. So God is definitely working his spirit, and he's doing a great work inside of me.
Yeah.
So this call has really taken off. Like I said, it went from being maybe 2 or 3 people. Now I look on there and it's about 11 to 15 people that's on this call.
It's going to grow so much more than that.
Right. And I'm just excited because I've been having people talk to me and tell me, man, like this call has really made a difference, not just in my business, but also in my life as well. And I've also got a thank you card for different people just saying thank you for being an inspiration. So that right there, that's what it's all about.
Tinsley, you talked about the prayer call. Now, y'all, I just want y'all to understand that I'm still working on myself. This is why I started this show, for encouragement, not just for y'all, but for me as well. Because I'm going to tell y'all what, at 6 a.m., I'm still rolling over. So I be on the prayer call like, hey, y'all, this year, still halfway asleep, but I'm on it, though. I'm on it. Whereas Miss Tinsley, she done got up and ran and did all this other stuff. I'm just now turning over in the bed. But what I really want you to tell the audience is what made you start the prayer call in the first place. And also because a lot of times, just as people, when we think about starting a prayer call, or we think about starting a business or a Facebook page or a YouTube channel, whatever it may be, we get so caught up in the fact of, well, what am I going to say every day? You know, what people going to think? You know, are they going to get on it, or are they going to do this? And you said something so big. It started off with, you know, 2 or 3 people, just maybe you and another friend. And then just by talking and advertising and just trusting God, now, you know, you're up from anywhere from 11 to 15 people every single morning who are willing to get up at 6 a.m. and worship God. So I just want you to tell them what that process was like, because there's people out there with, you know, different ideas in their spirit, but they're afraid of what the outcome or what the turnout is going to be, so they don't do it. So what was that process like for you when you started that call?
Well, for me, it all started off, we went out of the country, we went on a cruise. And while we were on the cruise, me and some other business partners, we decided to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, and we all shared our devotionals. So that was something that was so powerful, because while we were sharing our devotionals, we actually got to see the sun come up, and we was on top of the deck. So that was something that just was amazing. So one of the business partners said later on, Tinsley, I think that, you know, we should do a prayer call every morning. So I said, okay. You know, at first I'm thinking like exactly what you said. Well, what am I going to say on this call? And, you know, who's going to get on this call? So all of those thoughts did run through my mind.
Right.
However, I didn't allow that to stop me, because I realized that the prayer call is not about me. It's not about necessarily who shows up on the call, but it's about me being diligent and being obedient to God. God laid it in my spirit also that, okay, if somebody is asking you to do this, it must be a reason and a purpose behind it.
Absolutely.
So I just went with that small, you know, small voice inside that said, you know what, Tinsley, like, why not do it? You know, what do you have to lose from it? So that's how I actually got started. A good friend of mine was a business partner. Her name is Katrina Gilmore. And I'm so excited, because if it was never for her kind of putting that thought into my mind, I never would have just probably thought to do it on my own.
Right.
So I just really took initiative to say, you know what, why not do it? I feel like a lot of people can get something out of it.
Absolutely.
So after that, it just kind of really took off from there.
Right. And I know, like she said, you know, the Lord put something in her spirit to do. And she don't really ever worry about saying anything, because she love to go, Tiara, was that you? Did I hear you say something? And anytime somebody get on the call, she definitely asked them to speak. She asked them to pray. And, you know, at first I was like, oh, gosh, like, I just want to be on the prayer call. Like, I just want to listen. But one of the amazing things is when you do start calling people out and you actually participate in the call, you actually share your heart, God begins to do something amazing for you, you know, even just putting a word in your mouth to give to other people. And one of the things that I have noticed is that when you do the things that God has asked you to do, when you do the things that people have asked you to do that make you uncomfortable, you know, there's growth behind that, and it helps you to further who you are. It helps you to find out your destiny, your purpose, your gifts. Some of you are still, you know, trying to figure out, well, what am I supposed to do in life? You know, who am I? What has God, you know, what does he want me to do? And something as simple as a prayer call is something as simple as somebody saying on the prayer call, hey, you know, I want you to speak. Hey, I want you to say something. Whatever is on your heart can bring out those different gifts. And it really, really is so important and so amazing, because every single morning, like, some of those prayer calls are so amazing. Like, we leave pumped, ready to go. You know, people are sharing their hearts. You know, sometimes, you know, the spirit is very heavy, even on a call. And so it just really gives you the encouragement that you need. And, you know, even for Walking Miracles, I started the show simply because even though I only do it once a month, I wanted to encourage people. I wanted people to just see everyday people who are out here doing this thing called life, and how amazing it is to hear from your peers. You know, we talk about testimonies, but I think we've gotten away from giving testimonies, and that's kind of what the prayer call does for us every single morning. Gives us a platform, each and every person that's on a call, anybody who wants to say anything, a platform to say, hey, this is what I've been through, this is what I've learned, this is what God shared with me, because we need that encouragement from one another. We need that help just to say, hey, I've been through what you're going through, or I went through this and it was very similar and this is what I've learned. And so that's really amazing that you took on the initiative to do it, and not just do it, but consistently. Monday through Thursday at 6 a.m. we get on this prayer call and we pray and we allow the Spirit to lead us, because so the prayer call naturally wanted to last about 30 minutes, but just like this morning it lasted longer than 30 minutes. But it's okay, because we had such a good time and you're pumped up about life and you're ready to go. And when you start your day with God, when you start your day with the source, because understand that He is the source, everything else is just a resource. Your job is a resource, your house is a resource. He's the source, and as long as you have Him, everything else and anything else is possible. And so starting your day with the most important person, with the most important thing in your life, it makes a big difference, because then you go out and no matter what happens, you're like, you know what? God got this. I remember I was on a prayer call this morning, and it just gives you that foundation that you need. So I definitely appreciate you for that. And something else, you have the prayer call, you have your daughter, you have the business. How do you balance all of these things? Like I was just telling y'all, she's up at 5 a.m. running. So when she on the prayer call, I'm just rolling over. She on there like, hey, how y'all doing, Tara? You still sound like you sleep. Wake up, girl. And so how do you balance all of that? Being a mother, working full time, not just working, but having your own business. Like you said, giving others the opportunity to have a business of their own as well, and teaching them, then doing a prayer call and all these other amazing things that you do. How do you balance all of that?
That's a great question. And I can say this, that it's not always easy. Some days I do get tired. Some days I get discouraged. Some days I don't feel like talking. But one thing that I've come to realize more is that I'm so much bigger than my feelings. So you really have to get your feelings out of the way, because for me, my purpose is greater than my feelings are. So even on the days I don't feel like getting up, I don't really feel like maybe, getting on a call, or don't feel like getting out of bed, it's just that, I know that I have a bigger purpose. And if I lay in bed, then if I don't fulfill my purpose, somebody else's purpose may get delayed as well.
Absolutely.
So it's really about having a schedule. So once you get into a daily routine of doing things, it gets easier. So it's just more about me just being consistent every morning. So I listen to a lot of motivational videos, a lot of audios. One of the main people that I listen to is T. Harv Eker.
Okay.
If y'all have not listened to Secrets of a Millionaire Mind, I highly encourage you all to listen to that, because it's just a lot of training on your mindset and how you think, and not allowing certain circumstances and fears to stop you from doing your purpose. And what I do is every day I say, you know what, I'm going to set my alarm clock for a certain time. I've just recently changed it from 5 o'clock to actually 4:45. So I'm actually getting into the routine, a daily routine of waking up every day at 4:45. I wake up, I don't even look at my phone anymore. I just wake up, turn off my alarm, I do my jumping jacks, and then I put on my clothes and I go running for at least 15 to about 30 minutes. Now, what that does is that gets my blood pumping. So now I'm energized. I'm ready to start my day. I'm ready to get on a prayer call. And I'm excited because now my blood is running, my adrenaline is rushing, and I'm excited to just be in God's presence. And one thing about starting off your day with God, it just kind of sets the pace for your day. I'm in a positive mindset. I've been fed by the word. I done got my exercise in. And now I feel like I'm ready to tackle anything. So as far as my daughter, after I get off the prayer call, I know I have to wake my daughter up. I have to get her ready for school, take her to school in the morning. After that, I'm ready to get my day started. And I've also been blessed to have an excellent support system. I have a lot of people that in my side of the family, as well as her father's side of the family, that helps me with getting her back and forth from school for me, so I can work all day long and make sure that she's still taken care of at the same time.
Absolutely. So finding a system, basically.
Right.
Finding a system that works, setting a schedule, really getting a daily routine. Now, I must admit, I'm going to be honest, be transparent that before I really, decided to change my life and really, pursue my destiny full time, because that's what I call it. I'm pursuing my destiny full time. I've decided to take my life into my own hands, cutting back, on my expenses, cutting back on things, and really just saying, you know what? I'm going to make sure that I get everything that God has for me. Before I really made this decision, y'all, I did not have a routine. I didn't get up at 6 a.m. My time, whenever I got up was when I got up. I knew what time I had to be at work, but, it might be 7 o'clock. It might be 7:30. It might be 6:30 if I was feeling good. But really waking up every day and getting on that prayer call has really given me just the ability, like she said, to start my day, to go ahead and get up in a positive mindset, no matter how I'm feeling, just getting up and saying, you know what, like this morning, I'm not gonna lie to you, I was agitated. I wake up agitated a lot of mornings, honestly, especially when you working all day long. Yeah, you working all day long and you tired and you wake up. But, my brother, shout out to Tyler Brown. For the ones of y'all who know my little brother, I was almost beating him up this morning because he was in the bathroom and I had to make it to my meeting, y'all. I was like, oh, I'm going to be late. So I got up at 5:30. My dad was in the bathroom because I'm going to buy a house in the next year. So like I said, I cut back on my finances. So I'm like, my dad in the bathroom, then my mom going to the bathroom. Then my brother wake up, he in the bathroom, and he is so inconsiderate. He like, I don't care. Like, he just taking his time. He ain't doing nothing but brushing his teeth and washing his face, y'all. He in the bathroom for 30 minutes. So finally I get up. Anyway, I just basically had to tell him, you need to get out of here because I got to get ready. So I'm irritated with them. And so I just had to pump myself up. And because I was on a prayer call, because I was able to say, you know what, I just got finished. We just talked to the Lord. We just talked about, praising and worshiping no matter what goes on, all of those different things. And so I'm really, really pumped, and I'm gonna pump myself up. So I was on the phone. I was like, woo, it's gonna be a good day. I just started speaking over my life, how I'm gonna be able to help, families on top of families, how I'm gonna be a philanthropist, how I'm gonna be the voice of those who can't be a voice for themselves. And that was a prophecy that I received maybe like a year or two ago at this point. But I began to speak that back over my life, really pumping myself up. And now I don't even know what I was in a bad mood about. And that's just, what the prayer call has done for me, because you can't start your day with God and then be irritated and then have a bad day. That's just not how it works. And so just listening to other people, not even that, some of them are going through some real life stuff. Like, we're really transparent. People are really sharing their hearts and the things that they have going on in life. And so to actually really, hear and know that my little issue with not getting in the bathroom on time is nothing compared to what my brothers and sisters are going through. So I don't even have the right to be agitated or to be upset. And so just starting my day differently, coming up with a routine, having a schedule, and I'm still working at it, y'all, because I'm definitely not perfect. I'm still working at it, but just getting started in that. My days are so different. My nights are so different. I'm learning to just get my clothes out at night, so in the morning I can just take off. I don't even have to worry about doing all of this extra stuff that holds us up, that throws our morning off. In the morning we wake up, we're trying to do this, this, and this. When if you had to just did 2 of those or even 3 of those things before you went to bed, your day starts off very differently. And so that prayer call is something, that really, really helps us, and just having a schedule, because Tinslee, like I said, she has way more on her plate than I do, because I don't have a child to get up and get to school. And then I'm pretty sure she has events and different things that you have to be at. And so really, Tinslee, I just thank you so much. But if you had to say anything to our audience, people who are out there, like you said, people are struggling. We are fortunate enough to have an opportunity at this point to where you can make $7,000. You can, make that much money, because most of us, myself included, when I was teaching, I was only bringing about maybe $2,200 home. So that's double, almost triple what I was bringing home. Matter of fact, it is triple what I was bringing home at that time, and even, still matching what my income was in this business and surpassing it even now after only being in this business for 2 full months. It's unheard of. And so there's a lot of people out here who want to do something different. There's a lot of people who are looking for something different, but they may not just have the self-esteem or the courage that we have to really say, hey, I'm going to go out here and I'm just going to do it differently. Like I said, I moved from my condo and I moved back home with my mama, because I know in a year I want to buy a house. I want to save money. Now, a lot of people would have been like, well, no, I'm not doing that. But sometimes you have to cut back. Sometimes you have to do things that you don't want to do in order to be in places that you want to be. Because in 2 years, while y'all looking at me like I'm crazy, I'm going to have surpassed everything that most people are even doing my age at this point, because I decided I'm going to cut back. I decided I don't care how anybody feels about it. I decided that I don't care what it looks like. And so if you had to say something to those people, with you doing all of the things that you do, what would you tell them? What would be one piece of advice, or 2 or 3, or whatever you got? What would be some advice for them that you would want to give so that they could, take those things on for themselves?
Well, one of the main things that I would give is to act in despite of fear. So despite of how you feel, despite of if you're in a good mood or not, despite of any doubts that creep up in your mind, despite of your circumstances, to still act. Because one of the things that I've learned is that rich and successful people, they have fears, they have the same doubts that we all have. But the biggest difference between those people and the people that may not have been excelling is their mindset and the fact that they still act in spite of how they feel, in spite of any kind of disappointments that they've already experienced in life. And it's been a lot of times that I didn't feel like doing things, or a lot of times that I've been fearful of doing things, but I still did them anyway.
Courage.
So action always beat inaction every single time. I'm pretty sure y'all all had times where y'all did not feel like getting out of bed, or you did not feel like just dealing with life today, but you still got up anyway. So that just goes to show you that you're bigger than those feelings, because despite of how you feel, regardless, you still got to go to work. Or regardless of how I feel, I still have to be a mother. Regardless of how I feel, I know I still have certain bills that I have to pay. So I cannot allow my feelings to dictate me being, a mother, or me being a business owner, or me helping somebody else, because I know that I'm bigger than my feelings. So if I could give any word of advice, I would say act in spite of how you feel. That it's okay not to be okay, but it's not okay to stay that way. So despite of any fears that you have experienced in life, or any type of doubts that you may have experienced, just remember that you still have that ability to act anyway, despite of that. So that would be my one advice that I would give to
one
y'all.
piece of advice.
One piece of advice. So
well, that's a pretty.
I
was about to say that's a really good advice. Act in spite of your feelings, in spite of your fear. Push forward. That's what courage is. A lot of times people are like, man, I'm afraid, and it's okay. I've heard people say, well, I'm waiting until I get more I'm waiting until I get more confidence. I'm waiting until I, feel this way. Y'all, some of the things that you really want to do in life, there's never going to be a right time. You're never not going to be afraid to do it. You just have to do it. The only way to get over fear, the only way to not feel it anymore, is to actually do the very thing that you're afraid of. If you would have told me years ago that I would be in this place today, I would have said, well, no, I'm not going to be doing it. If you had told me years ago, matter of fact, when I was 15 years old, for anybody who knows me and who has seen my journey, I was a very quiet kid. When I had something to say, you heard it. But for the most part, I was really shy. I was very quiet. But now, just over the years of doing things that I was afraid to do, talking to people that I was afraid to talk to, or whatever the case may be, I'm a completely different person. I still have my moments where I might not say anything, but everybody knows that I can talk. Everybody knows that I can speak. Everybody knows that, I have a completely, different personality. And that I do have a lot to say, and that I do have a lot to offer, but that was God's doing, because a lot of times we don't even realize, everybody knows that the spirit of fear is, not from God, but also those spirits of shyness, being shy, those spirits of, agitation, the things that we say, oh, she's just shy, oh, she just timid. All of those things are not of God. Being shy, being timid, because when you really look at it, God says come to even to Him, the Almighty, with a spirit of boldness, and ask for the things that you want. So you think that, being shy, that's not something that He wants us to do. Getting caught up in our feelings, that's not something He wants us to do. He says that it's okay for us to be angry. Just don't sin while you're angry. It's okay for you to have those feelings, but making sure that you push forward. And so that's a really great piece of advice, because it's something that we all have to follow, because I don't feel like doing things every day. I don't feel like moving forward some days. Some days I wake up like, oh my goodness, I'm sick of it. I don't feel like it anymore. But doing it anyway, by the time you get up and do it, by the time you just focus your mind and you just go for it, all those feelings, all those fears that you had, they're gone anyway. And so that's a really, really great piece of advice, y'all. And I thank you, Tinslee, for joining us on today and sharing your heart, girl. I thank you. Yes. And I really appreciate it. So I hope this encourages someone today, because as you can see, the young lady sitting before you, she packs a mighty, mighty punch. She's a mom. She's a business owner. She's a woman of God, and she's doing the things that God has asked her to do. And you can see her grow, from the first time that we started the prayer call until now, you can actually see her grow. And so for the ones of you who are out there like, hey, I'm a young mother, she's a single mother. I'm a young mother. I can't do this. I can't do that. She's walking, living proof. She's a walking miracle, y'all. She does it every single day. She makes sure that her daughter gets to school She makes sure that she's at her programs. Actually, she has the ability to be at everything because she makes her own schedule, because she owns a business. And it was simply that she made the decision to move forward, not because she wasn't afraid, not because she's any different than you, but simply just pushing past her feelings and saying, hey, I'm going to do this. So I hope you guys, I know you guys are going to be awesome. Continue to walk this thing that we call life out. Continue to be amazing and know that you're not alone. I thank you all for your support and tuning in with us. And so, of course, stay tuned. Every 15th of the month, we air an interview, so you will find out our next walking miracle on October the 1st. Y'all have a good one.
Never failing.